Today on Provost Park Fest, we're gonna be hanging out at Disneyland with a special guest, Zuke. Today on Provost Park Fest, we have an amazing guest, guys. We have Zuke, and we also have Zuke's trainers. Zuke is a special dog, is a service animal, and it's going to be eventually will be going to a home, their forever child, for a child that has autism. This is Lori and Matt. And Lori and Matt, they're the ones that actually prepare and train Zuke to be able to go into what they call a forever home. Once a service animal has been placed with that particular child, that they have that relationship forever.
Right. We are puppy raisers. We do the basic socialization and some basic training for the dogs. And then they will return back to Autism Service Dogs of America, which is outside of Portland, Oregon, in Tualatin. And they will then train for another 6 to 9 months, maybe even a year, before they're placed with the family that have a child with autism.
Right, well, what exactly is this? How does this work? What does a dog want to do? A dog, they want to run, they want to jump, and so they have to be trained to kind of learn how to handle social situations. And that's what Lori and Matt are doing, these social situations. And there's no more place that's more social than Disney. So they go through a process. They can't bring Zuke here on day one and start training. They do what's the home training first. And then once they graduate from home training, they go into small parks. And then once they graduate there, the pinnacle is the highest, is Disney. Once they're ready to go to Disney, they come here and bring Zuke here. Zuke can't chase bubble wands, they can't bark, they can't chase ducks, they can't be running around wild. They are well-behaved dogs while here at Disneyland, and that's what they're training them to do.
Thank you. That's exactly right.
That process, they can be denied entry into the park. When you enter into Disneyland, Zuke is gonna go right through the center because they don't want his leash to get caught on the little turnstile. So it's like if he had like a stroller. Zuke is going to be a highly trained service animal, and one of the things that they have to train in order to be passed off is they have to be able to be around other animals, like this horse over here. Service dog has to be able to behave properly around other animals. So they bring this to train them to make sure that there's no barking, yipping, snapping, or basically almost any type of dog behavior. They sit there, relax, come here. That way when the dog is placed with the family, they can handle all types of situations. And Disney is so great for this because they have all these experiences where they have to train Zuke in. It's an amazing experience here, for sure. One thing that people know is called the love languages. Like, what's your 5 love languages? Like, there's I think gifts and service, physical touch. Did you know that animals, dogs in particular, they have, see, he's behaving so well.
Good boy.
Dogs have love languages as well. They're treat-based, treats, toys, or praise. And they have to find out what the dog responds to, and then once they find out what that language is, then that's how they reward him. Zuke is a treat-based dog, likes to be done with treats. So he does something well, you'll see him giving little treats periodically. Other dogs will receive toys or praise.
And eventually He comes off of the treats and goes to praise.
I think every person's ever done this. Oh!
Hi, baby!
We're doing a service dog animal video today. Oh my gosh, I can't handle this. Mickey Mouse. I love Mickey Mouse so much. His mustache is amazing. It's so good. I want you to know that I had a mustache. At first I didn't like it, but then it grew on me. One of the things that they do here is they bring Zuke to meet and interact with the characters like Pluto and Goofy. The reason is because these are the bigger in life characters, and if Zuke can remain calm in those situations, then when you got the real world, when they meet these big life characters, that he's going to remain calm. Let's see if Chris can get in front of Pluto and behave. So this is actually the closest that they've been able to get Zuke to a character because, you know, with the pandemic, they've been very distant. Now they're allowing him to get a little bit closer. They just have that little planter. So that's the closest Zuke has ever been able to get. So it's a big moment. I noticed that when Zuke got there, he bowed down to Pluto.
He bowed down, and Pluto made a similar gesture, and dogs interpret that of bowing that you want to play.
Yeah.
And that's immediately he started getting into his play mode because he said, oh look, a playmate, a playmate. That's just dog behavior.
Yeah. Here's the thing, we're gonna talk about some do's and don'ts of service dog training. If you ever in a public place and you see somebody that's a service dog, it's gonna be a temptation if you're a dog person. You're gonna wanna go pet them or give them a treat. That is a no-no because that kind of undermines the training that they're doing in order to get the dog prepared for whatever service role they're gonna be fulfilling. So be respectful when you see a service animal. Don't approach them, don't touch them, and don't feed them, even though you probably want to.
And one of the reasons is because the dog has to be 100% attention on their person, and by distracting them, by trying to pet them, that takes their focus off of their person, and that's the reason why.
All right, so right here behind us is the little red wagon. It's the corn dog. Everybody knows these are the best corn dogs in the world, but right behind over here is a little relief area. So we're gonna show you where that relief area is. This is the only time that Zuke is allowed to sniff. As a dog, this is the time he's got complete permission. So when they take him to relief area, service dogs usually take a long time sniffing because they're like, oh, I guess for smelling and do this. And also this is another area where a lot of dogs, you know, relieve themselves, and dogs find that interesting, so there's gonna be a lot of sniffing going on. Now, when Zuke has his vest on, he's working. This dog is working right now. When they finally, at the end of the day, they'll take that vest off, and then Zuke can just be a normal dog. You will also notice around his mouth, there is like a little leash.
It's called a gentle leader. So the gentle leader is a training device to help the dogs learn to heel and to know which direction you're going, because the snout is the most sensitive place on a dog. It's just a gentle twitch of your finger to know which direction or to stop, as opposed to something around their neck which can choke them and damage their throats. So he can bark, he can bite, he can drink, he can eat with this on because it's behind his mouth. So it's not a muzzle, it's called a gentle leader, and it's just to help him learn to heel properly.
Okay, so we are walking down Main Street right now, and we are gonna take Zuke on an attraction. That's right, Zuke can go on attractions. As long as the attraction doesn't have a height requirement, Zuke can go on any attraction. So we're gonna take him down. I think they said, what attraction should you take him on? And I was like, Dumbo, so let's go to Dumbo. So for a service animal, they have to go through two types of trainings. The first part of training is about 18 months, and this is called socialization training. It's taking the dog to a really populated area, teaching them how to behave in crowds. And that's what's going on. That's what Matt and Lori are doing. After Zuke graduates from socialization training, they'll then go on to service dog training and learning even more skill sets. The service training lasts anywhere from 6 months to a year. Then, at that point, that's when Zuke will be able to be placed with a family. So here we are now in the line for Dumbo, guys. Zuke's about ready to get on. He's in elephant number 12. The reason they have the Zuke Rides is so that way he can handle all types of experiences when they place a child. They can do whatever the child needs to do. They can go rides, they can watch parades, they can go to grocery stores, go to a movie. This allows the child to have those opportunities. So they have to prepare Zuke in a manner of all kinds of ways. Zuke's been at Disneyland, SeaWorld, parades, everything. So when we first got here, Matt was telling me that dogs are kind of like sponges. They absorb the amount of energy that a person gives out. So if the person's calm, then, you know, there's the calming effect. If they're like wild and crazy, the dog is wild and crazy. And then Matt says, he goes, we really wanted to be around a hyper person to make sure that Zuke understands what that energy is like. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, where can we find one?
Yeah, that's not quite what I said, but yeah, it works. It works.
So I mean, I've been in my best behavior to kind of tone it down just a little bit to make sure. Now here's some cool things I learned about Zuke. Zuke's name is Zuke. And I asked him, like, why Zuke? So the autism service dogs, they name the litters and they do it by alphabets.
And it's not a litter.
It's not a litter,
it's a class.
training class.
Because there can be dogs
gosh.
from several litters in that class. And then there's also dogs of different breeds, Lab and Golden Doodle, and they have names like Zephyr and Zip and Zeppelin and Zion
And you notice the names are unique and interesting. The reason is, there's a reason for that, is when these dogs are finally placed with their child, they might be going to school with the child or be with the child all the time. So they don't want to have a name as common like, I don't know, like Matt.
or Chris.
Or Chris. Because then when they're talking to a child, if the child and the dog have the same name, the dog will be looking around. So you have you really unique names. Hence, Zuke. The love language of the treats, I find this super interesting, right? So you said that because we know that Zuke he's rewarded with treats, but there's a hierarchy of treats. What are the treats, the hierarchy?
His lowest treat is his kibble, his daily food, which we can feed to him a lot if we don't give him his breakfast or his dinner. We use the kibble all day long. Or we have chicken sausage patties or other little treats that we break into like pencil eraser size so that we can feed those to him during the day. But his highest treat, definitely for Zuke, is string cheese. And so if he's coming into a high anxiety type of a place, we'll break out the string cheese, and then he is just on his best behavior because he knows cheese is in the mix.
We did the exact same thing with Amanda. Popcorn's our high treat.
Exactly.
We give her that, and she's like, This is an intensive process. You notice how we were with the horses. They didn't bring Zuke up one day, the horse. It was a process where they had Zuke sit across the street from the horse. And they moved that Zuke closer and closer and closer. And this is a process for them. So this isn't something that's like one day, like, hey, let's go hang up our horses. It takes days.
It takes days.
Years and months of practicing. I was saying, all the places, where's Zuke been? Zuke has been
To SeaWorld, to the zoo, the LA Zoo, to several Dodger games. On the plane to North Carolina.
I'm sorry. Did you say Dodger games?
Dodger games. He sits.
Go Dodgers! Why don't you take him to like a real game, like the Padres? Let's not take Zuke with the Dodgers. Oh.
Underneath this bandana, his collar says Los Angeles.
No,
He's
what?
an official Dodger dog.
Right
here.
is.
Right there.
Go
Give you a picture.
Zuke. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the next ride, we're gonna take Zuke on It's a Small World. One of the things I learned about is when they come here to train Zuke going on attractions and getting used to being crowds, they always look at the wait time for a line. If the wait time is over 45 minutes, they'll generally skip that particular attraction for that day. The reason being is the stopping and going, starting going for the dog, it really tires them out and kind of hurts their hips. Then that way, if you do that a lot, it makes it hard for Zuke. So we look for all the attractions right now that have really short wait times, and we're doing those ones. And It's a Small World is a short wait time right now. All right, so I'm not a doctor or a specialist about autism, but autism has been explained to me, and I'll explain what I've learned. When a child or somebody has autism, there's really like the filters. Like right now, you and I are able to have a conversation and we hear and listen to each other. But when somebody has autism, they hear this conversation, they hear the clock going on, they hear people walking on, and there's lots of sensory overload, and it's hard for them to focus on this. That's what Zuke does, is it helps calm the child down so it can kind of focus on what's going on. This is one of the few times where I can pet Zuke all day long if I wanted to. So you go underneath the chin right there. Oh my gosh, just little kisses and loves. What Lori is telling me, the reason you scratch under the chin is if you go on the dog's head, they tend to go up and it teaches them to kind of jump up to you or they jump on you. They don't want that behavior as Zuke, so they scratch right underneath the chin. It actually works. You want to?
It's a little rough. Sorry, it's a little rough.
Rough. He's just relaxing here. Here's what I tell you about. Zuke will eventually be placed with a child, and they'll find the behaviors of that child, and they'll match Zuke's behavior to that. For example, some children who have autism, they tend to they run away when they get overstimulated. Zuke will train them, slow them down, not to do that. Some children who have autism, they'll get overwhelmed and lay down on the ground and be upset. Zuke will be trained at that point to be lay down with them or side them or even kind of nuzzle them to comfort them. Some children are nonverbal, and so Zuke will learn to be able to communicate with the child in a nonverbal way. They've learned that a lot of children who are nonverbal, when they're alone with their pet, that the pet will come and they'll start talking to the pet, just to the pet, and actually start to increase their verbal skills. This is an amazing service that helps so many people need. Now, something interesting about these particular service dogs, you can't buy them. You have to raise money. And I will put a link down below so you can see this organization if you would like to be considered. Right now, though, they're not accepting any applications right now because it's completely full. The pandemic kind of curtailed things. But once things get back to normal, they'll be accepting new applications. When a family is selected, though, they can't just purchase the dog. They have to raise the money through fundraisers and other ways to raise awareness for autism. And also, it helps the family really have ownership of that particular pet. They'll say, hey, we earned this pet. And I made an error. I said pet. They're not pets. They're not a pet. A pet is like what I have at my house, our little dog Cabo. That's a pet. This is a service animal. They're not a pet. Something that we just noticed as we're getting off, it's a small world. When Zuke was going up the stairs, he was going slowly up the stairs.
We tell him easy stairs, and he knows now to go slow because dogs tend to take stairways really fast, but he's doing very well.
The thing about stairs, Matt, is I don't trust them because they're always up to something.
Yes.
Okay, Lori, talk about taking Zuke on the escalator.
So when he was a lot smaller, we had to train him on an escalator. So we took him to our Target, which has an escalator up, and literally 10 times around to get him used to boarding the escalator, staying on the escalator while it's moving and not jumping off.
Yeah.
And so the poor employees up at the top are just laughing at these people taking this dog around and around and around up and down the escalator until he was used to the escalator, and now it's no problem. He just boards.
I'm gonna do a shameless plug here though, because did you know that the Mickey and Friends has the world's longest clear span escalator? I just learned that in our last video. You can watch that video here. That's what Disney told me. I didn't know what they even means, but that they do. Zuke can now ride that because Zuke is trained.
Yes.
I got some special guests, Adriana and DJ Boba, okay? They were one of the first people to ever discover our channel. Their son, Andrew, has autism, and they contacted me and says he really enjoys watching your videos, and that, I mean, this is like when we had like maybe 500 subscribers. It was
I'm just kidding. Maybe less. It was like
maybe
10.
less.
You just had Dave in us.
Yeah, that was it. But they also, so I learned about that. After that, I became interested in autism. I learned about how to try to communicate and interact with children with autism. And then you guys invited me, and we did what's called Autism Awareness Walk, where we walked around the Angel Stadium to raise awareness for autism. And so here's the thing that a lot of times people don't realize is, you know, it just takes them maybe a little bit longer to process what we're saying, what's going on. But we just need to be patient with them. So always have patience. Sometimes when we're waiting in line at Disneyland, we get all impatient. We're like, why aren't they moving faster? Disneyland's for everybody, regardless of like anything that's going on. So we want to be patient with everybody. These guys are awesome. By the way, follow DJ Boba is one of the most popular DJs in all of the world, by the way. So it is so true. So make sure you're following DJ Boba as well.
This is water.
Zuke.
You want more?
You want more? No,
Nope.
you're done.
You're done.
This is what I want. I want Amanda to carry one of these around for me. It's a treat bag.
I'll give you a treat. And then the high value is the string cheese. And you know what? If you'd like a piece of string cheese, get that out of your mouth. Here you go. Here you go.
This is the high end. That's better than the heart. I can
What
see
was
why
the
this-
heart? What did it taste like?
Chicken.
These smell good.
I don't.
This one, smell it.
You know what that smells no.
Oh,
like? It smells like apple vinegar.
It's actually not bad. Could use a condiment or something.
Some ketchup. Mustard. That was a first on Provost Park Pass, guys. You'll never see that again either. So a little child went by and they had a bubble wand. Literally went right by. All the bubbles just shot out. Zuke didn't even notice. Zuke isn't allowed to chase anything because they're going to be like tethered to a child, and that'd be really bad. It'd be dangerous to a child if they just ran off. So they have to learn to not chase anything. One of the things that they do at their home, at Lori and Matt's home, is they have a bunch of stuffed animal toys. They leave them all over the floor. Zuke's not allowed to pick up any of those toys because you don't want the dog playing with the children's toys. Another thing is dogs want to chase ball, right? And what they do is they have about 50 of them. They put them all over, and there's only one, and it has a stripe on it. That's the only ball that he can chase. So they'll put them all in a hallway, and then put that one ball in there, and then Zuke will have to go in and find just that one ball and not touch any of the other balls. And it's a really hard thing for him to learn, but he's actually mastered that skill. Matt and Lori will probably have Zuke for maybe 2 more months, and then he's gonna go off to the service animal school. So and then at that point they can reapply and see if they would like to do this process again. This is their second dog that they've done this with. There are families who have socialized these puppies, and they've done like 6 or 7 of them. So what do you think? Are you guys gonna end up doing another one?
We hope so.
Well, there was no hesitation. Matt and Lori both were like, yes, we are. I encourage it because it's such a need that it has to happen. This is one of the wonderful benefits. And now I'm gonna have Lori kind of tell you some stories that when I heard this, it literally brought like emotions to my eyes and everything. So I want to tell you the greatness that happens with these service animals.
So a child received his dog just recently, and they sent a story back that the family was able to go to the grocery store for the first time in his life. So without having a meltdown, without having to leave early. Can you imagine never being able to go to a grocery store as a family before? We have stories of a child who got to sit on Santa's lap for the first time because he felt enough courage to go do that now that he had his dog. You have stories of a child who got his first haircut because he could sit in the barber's chair for the first time. Stories of, the dogs going with them to the doctor's office or to the dentist, and the parent not having to have 4 people hold the child down at the dentist's office anymore.
And you told me that one story about the one child went to the dentist and the dog climbed on the chair and laid on him, and it calmed him down so they're able to do the dental work.
Right. So that's what the service dogs will offer to a child who is on the autism spectrum, is the comfort to be able to go out into the world to do things that we take for granted. And families now can go to the park together because the mom is not worried about the child running and bolting away while they're watching a little one. So, because the dog will be tethered to the child, and so they feel safe now to do just the simple things like that, or even coming to a place like Disneyland and being able to experience this. So, if you can imagine being a parent that is afraid to be able to go out to places like this, but the whole world opening up for them because now they have their service dog. That's why we do this.
The dogs are super caring. They're non-judgmental. They are going to love that child unconditionally, and that really brings out a lot of the goodness for the child and helps them function and perform here in society. And it's such a great need. And thank you so much for reaching out and letting us. We got special permission to do this video. We want to say thank you for that, and thank you so much for being with us today. Man, I also want to say thank you so much for allowing us to be here. I see all the work that you put into this. You have so much patience. You're so good at this. Thank you so much.
If only you knew.
And of course, I have to thank Zuke Zuke, thank you so much.
Oh, he's a big fan.
It's just a huge puddle of love, guys. Thumbnail Dave got super jealous that I got to be with Zuke, so they're going to give special permission to interact with Zuke. So there you go. So Dave got special permission to interact with Zuke. He's been wanting to all day.
Okay, Zuke. All right, all done. Look at me. Look at me. All done.